Right now we're going to talk about beauty secrets with a Dallas favorite, Linda Gray, and we want to know how she keeps that fresh and glowing look. So welcome back, Linda.
Thank you very much,
Because you don't look like you have aged a bit at all. Oh, and so we're going to get to the nitty-gritty and find out.
Very sweet, thank you.
So you started modeling in the 60s and doing a lot of commercials before you started working fully in TV and film. Did you learn some tricks of the trade when you worked as a model?
Well, you know, back then it wasn't, it was just kind of an ordinary job. They there weren't supermodels, there wasn't all of that stuff. But we just learned the basics. Wash your face, you know, eat right, drink water. You know, we learned the basics, but really the basics haven't changed. I was surprised the other day I met someone who said, do you wash your face every night? Do you take your makeup off every night? And I said, of course I do.
Right.
She said, well, don't you ever just sometimes get tired and lazy and just want to go to bed with your makeup on? I said, no, I don't.
So every night you wash everything off.
Yeah, and I just assumed that people did that, and they don't. So I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, there's some lazy women out there.
It's not, you know, I don't think it's lazy. I just think that they aren't educated, and once you get into a system and a routine, you just do it. It doesn't take that long.
Well, so kind of walk me through your beauty routine. Do you just use a normal cleanser? Is there anything specific that you use, or do you try different products all of the time?
I don't try a lot of different products because what works for me, and I don't experiment. I'll experiment with makeup before I'll experiment with skincare.
Okay.
But I really feel that it starts on the inside. I think that, number one, it's attitude. I think that negative thoughts and any kind of negative input really reflects. Smoking reflects. A lot of alcohol reflects on your skin. Right. So it loses all the vibrancy, and I love the word dewy.
Yes, like a nice, fresh, happy glow. Like,
wow, somebody said, your skin looks dewy. And I'm like, oh, can you say it again? At a certain age, you don't hear that very often. Right. So I was like, okay, bring it on. Let's. I eat right. You know, my little cooking segment over there. I try to eat the very best that I can all the time. I do. I wake up with a green energy drink, and people laugh. They say, "Oh, you're from California, wearing eating silly green drinks."
Right.
But I notice my energy because with our hours, they're pretty brutal.
Right.
They're long and they're hard. Sometimes
and you don't
have
a set schedule, so if you don't have a set routine, that can really mess with your sleep and your energy, all of those things.
So you have to balance it out. You know, it's not. I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I never have, so I don't know what I would do with a 9-to-5 job. So
I've got some video of you there, looking fresh and dewy. Gosh.
Yeah, Swan's a little tough in this scene. Oh, dewy comes to mind.
Well, I mean, your features are so beautiful, and have you learned a lot of tricks from the makeup artists over the years on how to really accentuate certain features? And because your eyes are so big and beautiful.
Thank you.
They do a great job of bringing out your eyes.
They do, and I love them, and I bless them for all the makeup tricks that they've taught me, you know. But for me, it's all about the eyes. You know, if they don't write great dialogue, or if I have to do something with a look, you know, that's sort of my strongest feature, I think.
Just conveying it all with your eyes.
Conveying it. That's how early on with JR and Sue Ellen, I remember sitting on the couch, and I didn't have any dialogue at all, and I remember looking at JR Ewing, and I thought, who would marry this guy? He's not very nice. And then I remember my head kept going, and I thought, it's me! Oh my God! I would marry that guy. My God, there's something wrong with me. And I was hysterical laughing. And so the producers kind of saw that, like, that terrified look. And they started writing for us. You know, they saw there was chemistry with Larry and I from the get-go.
Because initially you weren't supposed to be on every single episode. So the more that you were on, the more they thought, this woman is a mainstay. We've got to keep her on.
Well, it was, I don't know what they thought about me, but there was the chemistry. And Larry and I, it was like this magical plugged-in ping pong game that Larry and I had. And it was, he'd look at me in a scene, and I'd throw the ball back at him, and then he'd throw one back at me. So the magic was we were always on our toes because I never knew what that bad boy was going to
be doing.
And yet then I caught on. I said, well, you don't know what I'm going to do.
Give it right back to him.
So it started this fabulous energy, and the producers loved it. And I think CBS saw it, and they went, That's an interesting, weird, dysfunctional couple. Let's focus on them.
Just glued to see what would happen between the two of you.
Exactly.
Well, you called him the Pied Piper of life. Why is that?
Well, Larry, the first time I met Larry, I went to a dinner party at his home, and my husband and I arrived, and sitting at the table, Larry had a full Indian headdress on.
Wow.
To the, with feathers. And I thought, gee, this is an interesting host. And then 10 minutes later, he came back dressed in this sort of German Lederhosen thing. I don't know what. And all during dinner. And then he was a sailor. And he just kept disappearing and coming back in another costume. And then on Sundays, he would have these magical parades down at the beach in Malibu, holding huge flags from all over the world, and everybody would just follow him.
Wow.
And I was one of the followers. We trot along the beach, and the magic about Larry was that people did follow him because he brought back all the childhood within everybody. There were people in their 90s walking down the beach, and kids and dogs and babies, everybody would follow him. And he was always in some weird caftan. And
had a fun-loving spirit.
He did. And he'd have the little bubble machines. And he'd drive around with a clown nose on his, driving around anywhere. And but it brought out the child in you.
Right.
So he was so much fun to hang out with. My kids loved him. I would follow. I'd be part of the parade. And he knew how to live. He knew how to have a joyous life.
Well, I love that. Do you feel like he's kind of still with you every day?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Weird things happen, and we all, Patrick and I especially, look at each other like, well, he's here somewhere. He's
He's hanging around.
Yeah, he's hanging around. Yeah.
Well, I love having those kinds of friendships, and those people in your life really does make you beautiful. And so I love that you've kept your shape and your beauty, but on the inside as well.
Starts inside,
Well, and tonight there's something special that people should tune in for before the show. Is that right?
Yes, I think you should get ready. I know. Because when I saw it, we have a little sneak for this show. You should be ready and sitting down, because what they've done in the very opening shot is so beautiful that it took my breath away. I took a deep breath. I said, oh my God, everybody has to see this. It's gorgeous, and it's such a tribute to Larry. And the show it's exciting, and it's sad, but you get to mourn and grieve him, but it isn't so sad. You'll get to say goodbye. It's a celebration.
I love it. Well, I love that you've been here. Thank you so much. And we have to have you come back because your leg was on the Mrs. Robinson poster, so I want to know how you keep your legs looking that great.
Well, I didn't wear a cowboy boot. But today, it's an honor. It's a Larry Hagman Day today.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure, Hillary. Thank you very much.
Well, and again, make sure that you tune into tonight's episode of Dallas at 8 p.m. on TNT for an amazing episode that says goodbye to J.R. Ewing.